Guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. If you're new, welcome. I'm so happy you found us. Today is our episode of Cooking Vintage. I'm super excited. If you're new, I am a vintage cookbook collector. But to justify having as many vintage cookbooks as I do, I host Cooking Vintage, where I'll pick one or two recipes out of a cookbook once a month or twice a month, depending on my schedule. And this month we are cooking from the new Joy of Cooking. It's from the 50s, 70s. Let's see. I don't remember. The last edition was printed in 1952. It started in the 1930s. So this is the cookbook, and our main course recipe we are cooking today is our stuffed cabbage leaves. I'm super excited about this one. It's going to be so delicious. Let me get the recipe. And with this one, we are going to have 1 pound of ground beef mixed with rice, onion powder, paprika, garlic powder, and then we're going to feed that into our cabbage leaves. So I'm going to show you all of my ingredients. Let me get my meat kind of broke up real quick here. Kind of on a time crunch, so my husband's at physical therapy and I'm trying to do this while he's gone. Turn that down for a minute. So we have our cabbage. We're going to peel off the prettiest whole leaves we can. I have a pot of boiling water already right here. We'll drop them in and let them boil for about 5 minutes. We'll take them out, pat them dry, and then we'll stuff them. What are we stuffing them with? This is my hamburger mixture, and we're going to season this with our onion powder. And season generously, guys, because meat has no flavor. We're going to season with paprika. I'm finding that paprika was a very popular spice in the 50s, no joke. It's almost in every recipe. And then I'm going to do some garlic. And once my meat gets done, we're going to stir in some fire roasted diced garlic and tomatoes. Then we'll mix our meat with our rice and stuff it into our cooked cabbage leaves that we boiled for 5 minutes. Then we're going to put them in this pan, cover them with some tomato sauce. I'm going to use spaghetti sauce, and believe it or not, this is the spaghetti sauce I use, and it's really good. So I'm going to coat them in that, and you can top it with Parmesan cheese if you like. If you've been around a while, you know I don't eat a lot of dairy due to issues with dairy, so I'm going to forego the Parmesan cheese on top, but I will sprinkle it on my husband when he goes to eat. So I'm just going to break up my meat. Now, if you don't want to use hamburger meat, you don't have to. You could use ground pork, ground chicken. You could use sausage, breakfast sausages. You could use chorizo. You could use Italian sausage. That would be good. I'm using 1 pound of hamburger because that's what I had. And we're just going to go with what's in the fridge, what we have to cook this. Okay. As soon as my water boils over there, we will peel off gently our about 4 cabbage leaves, and we'll save the rest. I'll use it in an Asian dish later. And I'm only making about 4 or 5. I might make 5 depending on how many leaves I can get off, because my husband and I, neither one eat a lot, and we're not real big on leftovers, so I don't want to waste food at all. Okay, my meat is cooked, so what I'm going to do is dump in my canned diced garlic tomatoes. And then I'll just cook this so it all kind of blends together. So we're going to just let that kind of cook some of the liquid out from the tomatoes. So I'll leave that simmering right there. That's our meat and tomato mixture, and I'll show you that. There we go. So we'll let that simmer and cook some of that liquid out. And check our boiling water. Okay, our water's boiling enough. There you saw the water was boiling, so I'm going to come over to my cabbage and gently peel some leaves off. And I'm going to do this as delicately as possible because I want as much of the leaf to stay together as possible. You know what? I'm going to use a trick. Get out my cutting board. Get a really sharp knife. So I'm going to show you a trick. If you can't get a leaf off, if they keep ripping, what you do is take a really sharp knife and cut the core bottom off of your cabbage. See, I cut off the bottom, the core. I had already previously washed this, but when you cut that off, then it makes getting your leaf off so much better. And this one's got a little spot on it, so what I'm going to do, there's the little spot, is I'm just going to cut that little section off. And I'm going to set that leaf aside for a minute. And then I'm going to come over here and start on the next leaf I want to boil. And you still have to be careful, but it's a little easier to peel the individual leaves off when you cut the core off. Okay, there's our second one. And I washed all of this cabbage before we started because I didn't want to waste screen time washing cabbage. It takes it a little while, and I let it drain really well because I don't want it dripping in all over me while I'm peeling leaves apart. Okay, let's get this leaf off. And they're not going to be perfect, and that's fine. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So that's 3. I'm going to try to get at least maybe 1 or 2 more off. Like I said, we don't really eat that much, but cutting the core makes peeling your individual leaves off way better. See? And they're coming off in great shape. I'm going to do 1 more and put them just in my water over there boiling. Put a little salt in your water. Don't forget to add salt to your meat too, because none of this has salt. Well, this one's going to be smaller, but that's okay. We're not going to sweat it. So I'm going to take my leaves that I just pulled off. There's about 4 or 5 here. And I'm just going to drop them into my water and kind of work them down into the boiling water. And we're going to leave them there. I'm going to get my tongs out and kind of rotate them around so more gets in the boiling water. There we go. Now we're just going to let them boil for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to put my timer and let it boil for 5 minutes. While that's boiling, I'm going to set my cabbage out of the way, move my cutting board, and you might be going, what about the rice? You're right. We're supposed to have rice to mix in with our hamburger meat and tomatoes. Now, you can boil rice. That's perfectly fine. That's what they did. But you know, I show you some shortcuts as well. This rice is great. It's in little cups. There's a lot in these cups, and we're going to use this today to mix into our hamburger tomato mixture. All you do is open the rice cup. It looks like that. Put it in your microwave for 1 minute. That's all it takes. And hit start. And if I need the other one, I'll get it. It comes 2 in a pack. So we'll just see in a minute. I'm going to turn this way down and I'll dump it in. This is what our rice and this is what our meat and tomatoes look like after it's been simmering together for a while. Okay, I have my oven heating to 350 degrees, and I'm going to spray my pan that I'm going to wrap my cabbage leaves and cook them in with a little extra virgin olive oil. Okay, let me get a Okay, burnt my hands. So I'm getting the rice out of the microwave. Put it down and then grab it again. All right. There's the rice, and I'm just going to dump it in. And if I need the second cup, I will add it. I'm going to stir it around so it gets some of that good flavor and all the spices and seasonings. If you want to add more seasonings, definitely do so. But I put quite a bit because I knew it needed it. I'm going to turn that off now. And I want to show you, it only took one. Look, that is full of rice. So that is a great 1 minute hack. Now, let's come over here. See that color? That's the color that you want your cabbage leaves. So I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to put some paper towel down on my cutting board, and I have it up so I can fold it over once I put my cabbage leaves on here. So I'm going to put you right there, get my tongs. There's 1, 2. Okay, there's the rest. I'll bring them this way a bit, and then I'm going to take my extra flat and just kind of press it down on the cabbage leaves, and I'm going to let those cool for a minute. There's no reason to burn your hands with this. You definitely can wait until everything cools. I have my cabbage leaves right here. They are cooling down for a moment while I make some tea, because there's no reason to burn your hands. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and we'll be right back to stuff our cabbage leaves and finish this dish off. Okay guys, I brought you in closer. I've got my hamburger mixture right here. I've got my pan right here. And put my tongs right there. And my cabbage leaves are cooled off. So what I'm going to do is bring them over, and I'm just going to hold them in my hand like this. You can see they're nice and bendable, which is what you wanted. You know what? Instead of holding it in my hand because the mixture, the hamburger rice mixture is still so hot, I'm going to set it down in the dish. I'm going to put a spoonful of the mixture, which is hamburger, rice, and tomatoes, inside the cabbage leaf. And then you just simply roll it up like a little burrito, tortilla, whatever your reference, taco, whatever your reference is. I might try to do it by hand, see if I can get a little more in there. Oh, come on. Ooh, that is hot, not gonna lie. Then I bring it over here, I pull out all ends of my leaves, wrap it and flip it over, because when they cook, they're gonna seal up, because they're gonna brown on the bottom and kind of be sealed up. I'm gonna turn that over. You could chop some cabbage and put in your stuffing mixture here. I don't do that because I think for my husband that would just be too much cabbage. You can also put toothpicks if you want. I'm just placing them upside down. So it can you can do whatever works for your family. And if you'll notice, I'm stuffing them long ways instead of sideways, like that, so I can wrap them and get more in there. There we go. And I have one more little leaf to do. Okay, I have one more little leaf to do. And I'm gonna just do it like that. This leaf kind of got chewed up a little bit when I was pulling it because I hadn't cut the end of the cabbage off yet. And that's why you do that. It makes peeling beautiful leaves off so easy. So there are our stuffed cabbage leaves. Aren't they beautiful? Now what I'm going to do is I have extra meat here. I don't like to waste it. I don't want to save it. I'm going to put it on top of here. Now I could have put some on the bottom, but what if I didn't have enough for all my leaves? That's why I wait till I'm done rolling all the leaves I'm going to roll. And then I will put my extra mixture, which is hamburger, rice, and tomato, over the top. And again, remember, you could do ground chicken, ground pork. You could use breakfast sausage. You could use chorizo. Whatever, you like. These recipes are meant to be changed for your family and the way you eat. You could definitely make it spicy with Rotel, or just putting your own jalapenos or something in there. Whatever works. My husband and I both have digestive issues, so we don't do spicy anymore. You could come back in and sprinkle a little seasoning on top if you wanted to. I can smell the seasoning, so I know I'm good. I am going to take my tomato sauce now and just open it. And then I'm just going to pour it all over the top. And this tomato sauce, I know y'all might be going, ew, it's in a can, it's not a jar. This tomato sauce is very good. It is very good. And the sugar is not too bad in this. My husband's diabetic, so if I can get a tomato sauce with not a high sugar content, I definitely will. There you go. You can see I coated it very good. I will pop this in the oven in about an hour when we get home, after I pick him up from his physical therapy. It will heat up for about 20 minutes. And it will be ready. And that's the beautiful thing about these stuffed cabbage leaves. You can make them up ahead of time, cover this, stick it in your refrigerator, and when you're ready, heat it in your oven later. So guys, that's this episode of Cooking Vintage with our stuffed cabbage leaves that we are going to cook up in just a little while. If you liked my video, don't forget, be sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with that little bell. A lot of you are watching, you're just not subscribing, and it would really help me out if you subscribe. Also, I have a new series starting every Monday. Last Monday, I featured Anna's booth at the Plano Antique Mall. I showed you those gorgeous fall dishes in those turkey plates. Guys, get down there. Everybody is sleeping on vintage. But here's the new series. I will be featuring a new booth every Monday. And next Monday is my friend Carmen's. She has 3 booths. So I'm going to do hers one Monday at a time because I want you to get the full effect of each booth because each of her booths are different. The first one we're going to focus on though is her jewelry booth. Guys, everybody that comes into the antique mall heads to Carmen's booth for her jewelry. Her jewelry is gorgeous, and you will see all of that on Monday's episode of LS Vintage Design. So mark your calendars. Like I said, hit that subscribe button with that little bell and click all so you don't miss out. If you go to the Plano Antique Mall before the video gets up though, Carmen's booth is $13.95. Booth $13.95, and the jewelry booth is right by the checkout. You can't miss it. And don't forget, if you go, check out Anna's booth, and Anna's booth is Anna, so just ask for Anna's booth. I'll see you on Monday for the first Monday of Carmen's booth. Take care, guys. I hope you enjoyed our stuffed cabbage leaves, and of course, as usual, all the full vintage recipes are down below in the comments. Take care. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.